Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Ocean's 11. This is the remake from 2001 of the classic Ocean's 11 from 1960, which I will be talking about tomorrow, which I watched for the first time, which definitely made me appreciate this remake 100 times more. This movie, directed by Steven Soderbergh, written by, I just looked this up and I forgot his name, Ted Griffin, who also wrote the great show Terriers, and he wrote a bunch of other movies, heist movies, but this is the only one of the Ocean's franchise that he wrote. And I will be reviewing every Friday. I will be doing another of the Ocean's films in the franchise. So Ocean's 12, 13, and then Ocean's 8. So look forward to those. I'm actually excited to rewatch these movies as from a different viewpoint, as somebody that's going to talk about them on the show. So I'll be taking notes and things like that and be watching them a lot, paying attention a lot more than I would have very casually watched these movies in the past. I enjoy Steven Soderbergh. I think he makes great films. This one, like I said, 100 times better. The writing is better. The acting is better. The filming, the editing, every aspect of this film is exponentially better than the first film. The only thing these two films have in common is the fact that they took a bunch of movie stars of the time and put them all into an ensemble cast. Whereas the first film, that seems to be all they really cared about, were these movie stars, and just like, people just want to see them on screen, so it doesn't matter what they do. Versus this one is a very smart heist movie. Very slick, cool directing. Visually, it's very amazing. You have just the visual stylings of Steven Soderbergh are great. And really the tone, the visual styles, and even the score of this kind of are a callback to the original. There are references from the original in this one. But obviously this one is modern actors who I believe are actually good actors. George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, Matt Damon. You also have Bernie Mac, rest in peace, one of his last roles. Elliot Gould is amazing. You have Scott Conn. You have Casey Affleck. Just all kinds of great actors in this one. And you have, of course, which I'm blanking on his name because he's not credited. You have what's his name? His name is what's his name? I'm so close. He's got a weird English accent in this movie. Don Cheadle. Bam! As Basher. I cheated. I didn't think of it. Don Cheadle. And I was thinking D. His name starts with a D. But I kept talking to these ghosts, kept interrupting. So great cast. Great cast. The first part of this film is all about assembling the team. I mean, this movie starts with Ocean, which I'm blanking on his first name, Danny Ocean, played by George Clooney, being interviewed by the parole board to see if he's able to get out. Like, he's serving a sentence for his previous crime. All of these characters feel like not only individual characters, like fleshed out characters of people, aside from the first one where it's just like they're all just kind of generic whatevers. They all feel like criminals. Like, they all kind of have different aspects to them which are clearly what their strengths were in committing crimes. And also those strengths translate to the plan and why they're on Danny Ocean's team to pull off this heist. Similarly to the first movie, they are getting together to rob from multiple casinos. In the first one, I think it was 5 casinos. In this one, it's 3 casinos. But all 3 of these casinos are owned by the same guy. So that they're basically stealing from this guy. And that guy happens to be the new boyfriend of Danny Ocean's ex-wife. So not only is the mission to steal the money, but the mission is for Ocean to be reunited with his wife. Obviously, spoilers. Go watch the movie. It came out 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. Crazy. This was 20 years ago. I was working at the movie theater when this came out. The Many Faces is an ongoing abstract ink portrait series that I started many years ago. I release a new face every day, but go to inspireddisorder.com to check them out. So many available. But as a listener to The Ray Taylor Show, you can save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out. So go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF, that stands for The Many Faces. Go check them out, browse the entire collection, and when you decide on a piece, or maybe multiple pieces, make sure you use coupon code INSPIRED when you check out, and you'll save 10% as a big thank you for checking out my work, for collecting my work, and for listening to The Ray Taylor Show. And with that said, let's get back to the show. So that's the goal of Danny Ocean, is to not only get like $150 million, I think is their big take. Maybe it's more than that. I could be wrong. I didn't write that down. But also to win the heart of Julia Roberts' character, Tess Ocean. And the first part of it is them assembling the crew, which is great because you get introduced to all these different characters and you see their different personalities, and they are actually fleshed out people versus the first movie, which does none of that. It's just everybody just kind of shows up, and you don't really care about any of them because the movie clearly only cares about their big mega stars from the Rat Pack. Ooh, they can sing and they can do. You see when Danny Ocean goes to Rusty Ryan, which is Brad Pitt's character. Rusty is teaching Hollywood actors how to play poker. Danny Ocean shows up and they pull this beautiful scam, and it's just like everything shows not only how cool they are, which like everything about this is like, ooh, these are cool, because they're obviously movie stars in real life, but the characters that they're playing are supposed to be these cool criminals. And they pull off this cool poker scam where it's like, if watching the movie, it's clear that they're just hustling these kids that are just learning how to play poker, not really caring about actually having to like learning, but just more of an excuse to just play. And they have tons of expendable income, so betting, throwing money in a pot means nothing to them. But it's a nice little scene where you see like that, like these guys are like legit seasoned criminals, and like scamming these movie stars is just something they do just on a whim. It's just effortless for them. It's just automatic and effortless. Takes no amount of planning whatsoever. Like Danny Ocean can just literally come out of nowhere after serving, however long he was in prison, to show up at Rusty's place of work, and just easily, effortlessly, they run this scam on them without ever communicating what they're going to do. Like, it just shows the type of criminals that they are and how cool they are. But you see them, kind of convincing everybody. It's like assembling the team, which is great. And then about a third of the way in, right, that's the first third of this movie, and then it's like a mixture of them planning the heist while also starting to execute things that need to happen to make the plan work. So they're doing their like research. They're getting access to the surveillance. They're seeing routines of this guy that they're gonna steal from that has these codes. You know, it's got that great that's in like every heist scene where the whole crew is in the room. You see it in like all the Mission Impossible movies where it's like, this is our mission. If we choose to accept it, there's a vault at the end of a hallway, and there's all these things that we cannot do, and there's ways in which we will never be scanned, and we cannot know the code, and we will not have the eyeballs, and we will not have the voice, and it's all pressure sensitive and sound sensitive and all of the things that will make us get caught. Like, it's that whole scene where it runs through how difficult it's going to be, but then also the way everything is executed is brilliant in this movie. Even at times where it feels like their plan is failing, it is only just another part of the plan that needs to appear to be a failure, because that just leads them to the next step that they need to happen. Which is brilliant, like just so brilliant. Like how they, I mean, the only really time they slip up or get close to slip up is when they're going to steal the EMP, right? Basher needs this EMP to knock out the electrical grid because his plan A got messed up when they demolished the hotel, and because of that, they figured out this vulnerability and fixed it. So his plan A got thrown out the window, and plan B is to get an EMP. So they steal this EMP. And Matt Damon's character is Linus Caldwell, who is the son of another one of their old pals. So he's treated like the green freshman rookie kind of guy, not really given big responsibilities, kind of told to hold back. But when they're going to steal this EMP, like last minute, he decides to leave the van, which he was told to stay in, and, you know, he goes to help them out, but as he goes in the building, they come out of the building. And everything's like that. Like, there's so many scenes where it's like this scene that we're in ends and you see the character go off, and in the distance, it's the new characters coming in and a new aspect of the plan is being executed. It's just like clockwork, everything. So the only time that clock gets broken is when Linus decides to go into this research facility and has to break out. But thankfully, it didn't ruin the plan. Also, another time, because of that, it means that one of their characters' his hand gets messed up. What's that character's name? I want to make sure. And of course, it's not going to be like super easy for me to find this character's name. We've got, of course, it's going to be Yen. Shabo Quinn, who plays Yen, the acrobatic Asian dude, Chinese dude, gets his hand busted. The one time Linus does his own thing, and the one time this like perfect clockwork movement of a plan gets interrupted. But ultimately, add some suspense to situations. You know, Yen gets his hand cut when they're about to blow the door, but thankfully the batteries run out. Like, there's really great scenes in this of banter, like just back and forth. There's a lot of it with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Like, just it feels improvised. It's either improvised or just effortless acting between the two of them, where it's like they're clearly have worked together. Like, you can just sense the experience between them as well as what they're doing. Like, they don't at all feel like this is their first rodeo. And I appreciate that. The just kind of the back and forth, the banter, just every aspect of that I really appreciated. Join Inspired Disorder Plus today. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus to join. Membership includes members-only discounts and deals. You get access to the Ray Taylor Show completely ad-free, as well as bonus episodes. You get access to the complete live painting archive. You also get access to every single podcast ever produced by Inspired Disorder, hosted by Ray Taylor. You get access to Ray Taylor's personal blog, as well as the opportunity to ask me any questions. So if you want to start a podcast, you're into art, ask me anything. And so many more things are being added every day to Inspired Disorder Plus. So sign up today, become a member, head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. But yeah, so the second third is like this great weaving of like them planning and getting things to executing. Everybody in the crew has to do like multiple things. They play multiple characters. There are multiple aspects of this overall plan that they have to execute at different times. Like the layers of everything, the difficulty in this plan, this overall plan that has to be executed. The fact that this guy that wrote this movie was able to, like, for the most part, I mean, I didn't see many holes. I'm sure there were. I'm sure there's people that have watched this and have found the critiques, the holes in the plan that wouldn't have worked. But from my viewing of it, again, which I don't know how many times I've seen this movie, but for the first time watching it, taking notes, and really paying attention to everything, it's just like, it's beautiful to see this, like, this complex heist, this complex plan where everything falls into place. Even the things where it seems like they don't fall into place, it's like, oh, that was actually part of the plan. It's great. It's great. And this movie also is like, it has the way he was able to win his wife back was to show that her current boyfriend values money over love. And the way that was handled was beautiful as well. Because it's like, not only is the plan to get the money super elaborate, but also interwoven within that plan is to convince Tess to go back with her ex, that's a criminal, versus this guy who's like, super wealthy. She never has to worry. She gets to curate this art gallery, which she's clearly into art. And the way, that kind of that last piece of their plan that allowed her to see what her current boyfriend was into, what's his name? God damn it. The casino owner. Andy Garcia. Jesus. Cut that stuff out. Andy Garcia is the casino owner. And when Danny Ocean shows Tess that this guy values money over love, it's a great little piece. Like, oh, that's how he does it. Of course, that's how he does it. And even the end of the movie has like this ending where it's like clearly could be another film, which obviously there's more. I don't know I forget if the next movie is as related, because this one ends with him being picked up. He violated his parole, Danny Ocean, so he 3 to 6 more months of prison, getting picked up by Brad Pitt's character, and by Rusty and Tess, and they're being tailed by her ex's goons, his like security guys are like tailing him in a silver car at the end of this movie. So it's like, I don't remember, which I'm excited to see, rewatch the Ocean's 12, 13, and then even Ocean's 8. Because it's been a while since I've watched. I've only watched Ocean's 8 once in theaters, and it's been forever since I've watched the sequels to this, and I think I've only watched them probably like once each. Whereas this one I've rewatched multiple times. I'll be interested to see where they take it, if that has any bearing on the future sequels, or if that's just how this one ends. But this one ends positively. I guess positive. It's like, who are you going to root for? You root for these criminals in this movie. Like, you're not rooting for the casino owner at all. You're rooting for these criminals. You're rooting for Danny Ocean and the rest of the crew, and the 11 of his crew. But yeah. It was a lot of fun to rewatch this. I was surprised how good it is. It's so good. And I know there's like, I think the next one I think is the one. I know there's one of them that people talk shit about, and it's fine. I'm sure they're not going to be as good. They weren't written by the same guy. I'll be interested to see who writes the next ones. But this one, Ocean's 11, like as far as a heist movie, I mean, this has got to be one of the best. This has got to be one of the best. I mean, you compare this movie to one of the most overrated directors, I would say, writer-directors in the history of film, which is Zack Snyder, right? Who came out with a heist movie in the past year called Army of the Dead, where there's this heist where this crew has to go into this into Las Vegas, that has been walled off because it's become like this zombie. That's where the zombies rule, is inside this walled off area of Vegas, and these guys have to go in there to, I forget what they're trying to extract, but it's a heist movie. But it's the dumbest heist. It is like the least heisty of heist movies, similarly to the original Ocean's 11. Which is not a very good heist movie either. Very weak writing. Like, this has to be one of the best. I wonder if Screen Drafts has done a heist. Like, I should probably do a top 5 heist films and watch some other classic, well-known, promoted heist films and see, or well-regarded heist films, and see how this stacks up. But it has to be one of the best. Has to be. So check it out. They're all on HBO Max right now, but they're worth buying. I mean, at least this one. This one's like, it's so good from top to bottom. It's so good. You have Brad Pitt eating. I mean, come on. Price of admission there just to watch Brad Pitt eat in almost every scene. But check it out. Ocean's 11. It's spelled 11, not the number 11. Ocean's 11 from 2001, directed by Steven Soderbergh. Highly recommend it. Check it out. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.